In the small, peaceful town of Ashford, there stood a respected high school known for its academic excellence and discipline. Among its students was a girl named Lila, a young woman known not only for her intelligence but also for her beauty. Lila was graceful, poised, and confident, qualities that made her well-liked by her peers and admired by the teachers. She had a bright future ahead, with dreams of attending university and eventually becoming a successful doctor, far from the small town where she had grown up. But one day, her world would be shaken in a way she never expected. It began with Mr. Thompson, a relatively new teacher who had joined the school a few months earlier. He was a tall man in his early 40s, with a stern but fair reputation. Though many students found his teaching style a bit rigid, they respected him for his dedication. However, over time, Lila began to notice something unsettling. Mr. Thompson's attention toward her started to feel more than just professional. At first, it was small, extra help after class, lingering glances, and compliments on her appearance. Lila tried to brush it off, thinking it was her imagination. But then, things began to escalate. One afternoon, as the last bell rang, signaling the end of the school day, Lila stayed behind to ask Mr. Thompson about a chemistry problem she had been struggling with. She gathered her books, preparing to leave after the conversation. But as she turned to go, Mr. Thompson spoke, his voice lower than usual. "Lila," he said, his tone different, "I've been thinking about something. You're a bright young woman, then I can see a great future ahead of you. But sometimes, I wonder, have you ever thought about how much easier life could be for you if you didn't have to worry about school, about becoming a doctor, about all the hard work ahead?" Lila frowned, a slight chill running down her spine. "I don't understand what you mean, Mr. Thompson." He stepped closer, and for the first time, she felt a sense of discomfort in his presence. "What I mean is, well, perhaps we could help each other. You're a beautiful girl, and I think we'd make a great couple. I could take care of you, you wouldn't have to worry about anything. You wouldn't need to work so hard for your future if you were to be with me. I think we could have something special." Lila's heart skipped a beat, her mind racing. Was he suggesting what she thought he was suggesting? Was he asking her to marry him? She felt a rush of confusion, anger, and fear all at once. She had heard rumors about teachers crossing boundaries, but never had she imagined it would happen to her. "No, Mr. Thompson," she said firmly, stepping back. "That's completely inappropriate. I don't feel that way about you. I don't want any part of what you're suggesting. I'm not interested, and I think this conversation should end here." Mr. Thompson's smile faltered, but he didn't seem to understand the gravity of the situation. "Lila, you're young. You don't understand how life works yet. But I could make things much easier for you. Don't be foolish." Lila, feeling a surge of bravery, turned on her heel. "This conversation is over," she said coldly, her voice steady as she walked out of the classroom. As soon as she left, Lila's stomach twisted with unease. She knew she couldn't let this go. She felt an overwhelming need to protect herself, and she knew that what had just happened wasn't right. It wasn't normal for a teacher to suggest something so personal and inappropriate to a student. She couldn't just pretend it hadn't happened. The next morning, Lila went straight to the principal's office. Her heart pounded in her chest as she approached the door. She knocked gently, and when invited in, she found Principal Morgan sitting behind his desk, reviewing some papers. "Good morning, Principal Morgan," Lila said, trying to keep her voice steady. "I need to speak with you about something important. It's about Mr. Thompson." Principal Morgan, an older man known for his sense of fairness and integrity, looked up from his desk, his brow furrowed. "Of course, Lila. What's going on?" Lila took a deep breath, her eyes focused on the floor for a moment before she raised them to meet the principal's gaze. "Yesterday, after class, Mr. Thompson suggested that I marry him. He said I could make life easier for myself if I were with him and that we could have something special. He kept pushing me even after I told him I wasn't interested. The principal's face darkened with concern. He leaned forward, his expression now serious and attentive. Layla, I'm so sorry this happened to you. This is a very serious accusation. I want you to know that I will handle this with the utmost care and confidentiality. You've done the right thing by coming to me. Layla nodded, grateful for the principal's response. I didn't want anyone to think I was overreacting, but it just didn't feel right. I felt uncomfortable and scared. Thank you for trusting me, Principal Morgan said. You're not overreacting. What Mr. Thompson did is completely unacceptable. You're a student here, and you should always feel safe and respected by the staff. I will launch an investigation immediately. Rest assured, I will take the appropriate action. True to his word, Principal Morgan swiftly addressed the issue. After speaking with Layla and gathering statements from other students who had witnessed inappropriate behavior from Mr. Thompson, the school administration moved quickly. Mr. Thompson was placed on administrative leave while an official investigation took place. Within a week, the findings were clear: Mr. Thompson had violated the school's code of conduct in the most egregious way. His actions were not only unprofessional but criminal. The school took immediate action, terminating his contract and ensuring he would never teach again. When Layla heard the news, she felt a mixture of relief and pride. She had spoken up, and the right thing had been done. Principal Morgan personally thanked her for her courage, and the school community rallied around her, offering support. In the days that followed, Layla's classmates, especially the other young women at the school, were inspired by her bravery. Her decision to report Mr. Thompson had ensured that the school remained a safe environment for all students, and it reinforced the importance of standing up for what is right, no matter the fear or discomfort that may come with it. Layla continued to excel in her studies, undeterred by the incident. Her voice had been heard, and she had taken a stand against the injustice that threatened to silence her. And while the road ahead would not always be easy, Layla knew that she had the strength to face whatever challenges came her way, knowing that standing up for herself and others was the truest form of courage.